Tell us about that.
Lord, the Texans have overhauled their offensive line and put an awful lot of energy, focus, and resources into it. The latest is Wyatt Teller, the former Browns offensive lineman who agreed to a 2-year, $16 million deal to go to the Houston Texans. He now becomes part of a remade offensive line there in Houston as they continue to make changes to try to protect C.J. Stroud. Wyatt Teller to the Houston Texans. And we mentioned yesterday the Kansas City Chiefs have acquired a backup to Patrick Mahomes, somebody to give them insurance in the event that Mahomes isn't ready for the start of the season, a quarterback in Justin Fields who will get the reps during OTAs and training camp as the starting quarterback, and also have a chance to help the Chiefs offense in a variety of ways even after Mahomes comes back. For Fields, on his fourth team in 4 years, now has gone from the Bears to the Steelers to the Jets to the Chiefs, and this may be an opportunity here in Kansas City for him to shine.
I liked what Adam said there about helping the offense even when Mahomes comes back. Dan, do you like this fit for Fields in Kansas City?
Yes, I'll start with the quarterback perspective of it because it gives Kansas City somebody in the offseason that at least can run their football team, who has starting experience. I don't see this as a Sam Darnold resurgence or a Daniel Jones resurgence or a Baker Mayfield resurgence. But Justin still is an incredibly talented athlete, and I think it's going to come to the point once Patrick becomes back into the fold of, are you willing to play a little bit of a Taysom Hill role where we can build more than just a package? We can truly build a section of our offense around you. And it's not just we're going to make you be just an athlete, but we're going to put you in situations. Sometimes you will be an athlete. Sometimes we can use the creativity and you'll still play that quarterback role. I think if Justin's willing to do that, and it doesn't mean that it has to be his long-term future, but at least entertain accepting that, specifically at a place in Kansas City like with Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy, I think it could have tremendous impact on the long-term potential of his career.
I mean, you know what Bieniemy wants to do in the run game? It's a really interesting suggestion, and it does make you then turn toward the draft and think about what they're going to do. They've got the 2 picks in the first round. So let's go back to Mel's mock. The Chiefs had those 2 picks in round 1. Who do you have them taking, Mel?
A lot of neat areas, Laura, no question about that. But Ruben Bain Jr., I believe, is the toughest evaluation of any of these first-rounders. Why? Because he's a great football player in college. He's a warrior. Tremendous hand usage, great angles getting after the quarterback. But questionable arm length, 40 time, all those things, those measurables that you want make him an outlier. So can he translate what we saw at Miami into success in the NFL? Somebody like the Chiefs may roll the dice that he can early on in that top 10 to 15. Cornerback, obviously a big need. Brandon Cisse is talented. He's gifted. When NC State to South Carolina had a solid year in coverage, he's going to test off the charts, 41 vertical. He's got the kind of length you want, and he studies the game, passionate about that. Teammates raved about Brandon Cisse's work ethic. He's that long, athletic corner that John Schneider in Seattle love. I just don't think he'll be there at 32. I think he goes a little earlier, maybe to the Chiefs at pick number 29.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on what they do, and it's interesting, too. I mean, there's been a ton of change for this Chiefs team. Guys, a little peek behind the curtain. We had to come back over the desk. That's why you're just seeing Mel on the screen. You guys should show us walking over and see who walks better, but I guess we're not going to do that.
Gait.
All right, Dan. It was better, though, to just see Mel the whole time. Dan, how important is this draft for the Chiefs, giving all the changes? They've made some key adds, Kenneth Walker being the highlighter of that, but there's a lot that needs to change,
I think it's the most pivotal draft of the Mahomes era. This roster right now has some significant holes that we know about, and this is coming off of a couple years when those holes have been exposed. I love the Ruben Bain addition. When I think of Ruben Bain and George Karlaftis, I go, having to play against that as an offense, relentless pass rushers. And that was really the problem last year with this defense was they could not get off the field in meaningful downs. They couldn't get to the quarterback, and they couldn't cover up the right way. We know that there's an issue opposite Karlaftis as a pass rusher. When Karlaftis and Chris Jones are on the field, it's a good pass rush. It's got to get great once again, Ruben Bain. Cisse, I love the fact that you're addressing the cornerback issue. I mean, look at the impact of these 2 guys on the field, and then when they're not one of them on the field, this is a very bad pass rush unit. They've got to correct that. I would tell you that I know it's not part of Mel's mock, but I love Kenyon Sadiq there.
Ooh,
there needs to be a more reliable number 2 pass catching option.
Yeah.
There just needs to be. And I know he's a little bit more of a straight line athlete, and maybe not this lights out football player, but I think of Sadiq to Kansas City with Andy Reid and the creativity. as the next part from Kelsey.
Mel, I heard you say this just a little while ago that Kenyon Sadiq is one of the most talked about players right now. What do you think about the fit there for Kansas City?
It's a great fit, Laura. And then I thought about getting him to Kansas City because he's going to go high. I think Baltimore could be in the mix, certainly. And I thought Tampa Bay definitely could be a place for Brandon Sadiq. He is a tremendous young man. His football IQ in those interviews was through the roof. And then you talk about what he did on the field. The tape is outstanding. The athletic ability. He's still very young and developing. He will be a major league fear factor weapon in the NFL. And for Kansas City at pick number 9, I don't think it's too early.
Kansas City, by the way, the current favorite to win the AFC West at DraftKings Sportsbook. So the books are telling us that they're going to get it all figured out. They're going to be right back there. Patrick Mahomes is going to get healthy. Justin Fields is going to bridge the gap.
They better hit this draft because Denver and the Chargers are better right now.
It took us a while to say this, especially as an Irish person. I'm embarrassed. But if you're hoping your team finds a pot of gold this offseason, Mel is here to help. Look at Mel and the red beard. It looks amazing. Mel, you're going to highlight some players that you think would be lucky for teams to get in the draft. So, Mel, give me a player that would be a good value in each round 1 through 4, and then I want to get your take on how you look with that beard.
Well, I'll work on that for the 2027 draft in D.C., Laura and Dano. But I'm going to go here with Peter Woods in the first round. If he gets down to 22 to the Chargers or in the 20s, quick, strong, athletic, versatile. He went into this year back in August. We thought maybe top 5 overall. Why is he dropping? He didn't have the production you expect for a kid with that kind of talent. Doesn't have the longest arms, but a defensive tackle, it's not a big deal. Why? Because centers and guards don't have the longest arms either. I think if he gets in the 20s, Peter Woods would be a heck of a pick, maybe for the Chargers at 22. Hey, I'm a big Notre Dame fan. Nobody's a bigger Fighting Irish fan than I am. I'm going to go to the Irish, formerly of Virginia. Malachi Fields, big. He high points the ball. Louis Riddick doesn't want to watch tape of that Pitt game because he wowed over everybody in that game. Destroyed the Panthers, had a heck of a year, didn't run great, could get pushed into the second round. If he does, he's a heck of a pick as a power forward type guy. Would have been a first had he run a little bit better. Here's a guy in the 3rd round you'd be very lucky to get. And running backs do get lost in the shuffle a bit. Mike Washington Jr. went from Buffalo, New Mexico State. Didn't do anything great, did though play great at Arkansas. 6'1", 223-pounder, ran 4.33, had averaged over 6 yards a carry, had 28 for 8 touchdowns. He was a dynamic performer for the Razorbacks. But here's a guy you want a slot corner who's super smart, great football IQ. He'll tackle. He's instinctive. He's got great ball skills. That's Chandler Rivers out of Duke as a slot corner. You get this kid into the 4th round. Are you kidding me? He's going to play a lot of good football in the NFL. D'Angelo Ponce from Indiana, we're saying 2nd round. You get Rivers in that 3rd or 4th round area. He's one whale of a value pick. He is NFL ready with the mindset and the smarts and all that production with the Duke Blue Devils.
I love this, Mel, and that was so worth doing. Another reason why we did it is I wanted a chance to call Dan a tall leprechaun because that's what you look like today, Dan. Can we see your socks? He's got. Have you guys seen these socks out there on the television? Yeah.
These are Shamrock socks. My wife is an Irish girl. Maiden name is Lesher.
Tiffany.
I think her grandmother's maiden name is McFarland.
Yeah. Well, I'm McKeeman, so I've got some.
McKeeman?
I got a lot of Irish going
on. Oh, that's right.
My dad actually has an Irish passport. That's how Irish I am.
Really? Have you been to Ireland?
No, I've only been to Scotland. I didn't mean to be like a Tommy Topper on who was more Irish, but I win. Okay, speaking of the Irish, Mel, Notre Dame's Jeremiah Love in your latest mock, going number 4 to the Titans. I love this. Why did you put him there?
Why not, Laura, right? Why not? I mean, you talk about Cam Ward developing into a franchise quarterback. Have this guy right in that backfield, and you can put him in a slot. You can put him wide. Touchdown waiting to happen. I always bring up that Tony Dorsett 99-yard scamper against the Vikings on a Monday night. Jeremiah Love can do exactly that. He can go 70, 80 yards in a blink. This guy is a dynamic player. Love the fact he doesn't fumble the ball. Great ball security, great hands. Great young man. Tennessee, you could say it's a luxury pick all you want. It's not. This kid's going to come in right away, help this football team. They made a lot of additions via free agency, made the trade here and there. So the bottom line is you can look at this particular point in the draft and say, well, why not Sonny Styles? And I thought about Sonny Styles, linebacker from Ohio State, but I think Love, too versatile, too valuable. He's the best or second best player in this draft. You're picking 4. That's the kind of guy you got to select at that point.
To be clear, I do not think this is too high for Jeremiah Love. Dan, do you think that number 4 is too high for him?
No, I've said 3. You can make the case at 3 for Arizona. I love Jeremiah Love going to Tennessee at 4. And for everybody who's like, don't take a running back early unless he's the final piece, The most important thing in Tennessee this year is for Cam Ward to take a big step and lead into year 3 with the new stadium coming. So they sign Wan'Dale Robinson in free agency, but you now have a back that is a home run hitting back. He's Jamal Charles with a sprinkle of Jahmyr Gibbs. Great patience through the hole and then burst. Touchdown waiting to happen, home run waiting to happen. You've got Wan'Dale Robinson, who's a nice slot receiver. You still have Calvin Ridley on the outside that's been a little bit up and down. Where's the dynamic piece for Cam Ward to take the second step at? They spent a ton of money in free agency. That's not the most important thing in Tennessee. Have a good defense, great. That's not going to get anybody excited for your football team next year. What will is Cam Ward taking the next step. The best way for that to happen, put as many good offensive weapons around him. There's no question about it. If he's available at 4, you justify taking him.
This just hit me as you're saying this. It almost reminds me of Jacksonville taking Travis Hunter last year. Like that sort of got the excitement going. I realize different player, but you think about like what excites a fan base too. I get you're making word about Cam Ward, but yeah, right. Like we got this.
Get a playmaker.
Travis Hunter may not have been the reason why they had the season that they had, but still, like it shows how invested they are. Adam, what are you hearing about where Love could land?
Look, Jeremiah Love's going to be a top pick. I personally think when you talk to people around the league, 4 to Tennessee might be a little high, especially when you consider the pass rushers in this draft. The strength of this draft seems to be some of these top pass rushers. Arvell Reese, Bailey, some of the guys out there, Ruben Bainmel was talking about. And this is a defensive-minded head coach in Robert Saleh. This is a team that still needs defensive help. And this team, I think, feels like to get people excited in Tennessee, all they have to do is win football games. And the best way to win football games is to play good defense. And the best way to play good defense is to dig into the heart of the draft and go with a pass rusher, one of the top pass rushers at that spot at number 4. Look, Jeremiah Love, they've already had him in for a visit. He'll obviously be a consideration, but I think when you talk to people around the league, I think that pick at 4 might be today a little bit of a surprise.
Man, Adam throwing some truth serum on our excitement there.
The best
Adam,
way to win football games is to score more points than the other team.
Okay, now we're going to get in like a full-on football debate here. But yeah, okay.
I know how football works, Dan.
Yeah, thank you. Dan, were you mansplaining Adam there?
I'm so salty.
You made him salty. He wasn't salty until you said that, although I might have gotten us there. All right, coming up next.